Pregnant and my husband Che with our Sil. I can't even believe I am writing this. If you'd have asked me if I thought this would ever be me, I'd bet my life on it that I'd never be going through this. My husband and I have been together 10 years, married for 3. I had 100% trust in him and I was more than confident he'd never be one of those guys who'd cheat. My Sil, if you want to call her that, her and brother-in-law are engaged and have been on and off for the 6 years they've been together. And my husband began being close after he started working with her delivering. My mother-in-law also worked there. They'd all often go out bowling, or out to eat after work with other co-workers. I also had a close relationship with her. I loved her like a sister. Some other family and friends could never stand her, but I really try to see the good in everyone and try to not have problems with anyone. The closeness of my husband and Sil relationship started bothering me in August. I was assured it was nothing inappropriate. I am not proud of this, but I turned his location on his Snapchat at this point. I just had that gut feeling. I started monitoring it, but he'd always be exactly where he was supposed to be, so I dropped it. In early September, my husband got a new job and I felt much better. Late September, Sil and brother-in-law broke up yet again, but my husband kept hanging out with her with my mother-in-law and other co-workers from his old job. It bothered me, but I tried not to be the psycho-crazy controlling wife. Also in early September, we found out we were pregnant with our second child. We already have a 5-year-old together. He never wanted a second, but it happened. I was terrified to tell him. I started crying, saying he was going to hate me and want to leave to my surprise. He hugged me and acted happy. Last week of October, he turned off his Snapchat location and I started panicking. I should have brought it up, but I didn't. If I did, none of this might have happened, but I know I can't blame myself. November 2nd, I got a text from him saying he was going bowling after work with the old coworkers and that he felt we needed a break because he wasn't happy. I was taken completely by surprise. I didn't know where this was coming from. When he got home, we talked for 5 hours and he admitted shortly after finding out I was pregnant he began panicking. He really did not want a second child. He also said he feels like his friends don't like him, that he's tired of this pandemic. He feels inadequate at work and feels like he isn't knowledgeable enough, that he fears he'll never be successful enough, etc. He said he has been feeling depressed and suicidal for the past couple months and that he had been confiding in Sil about everything. I asked if anything was going on and he said no. I said, I swear to God, if anything happens with her you will regret it and hate yourself. It might feel good and exciting and new in the moment, but you will regret it for the rest of your life. Not to mention your whole family would hate you too. He said he knows. By the end of the night he told me he felt much better, that he remembered why he fell in love with me, and that he had no idea why he waited so long to talk to me about his feelings. The next month was great. He didn't ever go out with 2 ex-coworkers anymore. He was being more gentle with my feelings. Things were good. Out of nowhere Tuesday morning I get a call from him shortly after he gets to work. I need to tell you something. I cheated. I am coming home now. I hung up. He kept calling back. I started having a panic attack. I asked with who. He said, I think you know. I've asked every detail I could think of. It wasn't an emotional thing. He didn't have feelings. He doesn't know why he did it. He was in a dark place. She started flirting through Snapchat the last couple days of October. He reciprocated. Things got sexual. She started sending him nudes. He went to a Halloween party. I worked overnight. Our son stayed with my parents. She called him and said to leave the party and come over, that she was home alone. He drove there and they had sex. He wore a condom. There was no foreplay. Lights were completely off. He tried to leave before anything started multiple times, but she kept saying no. Stay. He said he hated himself before, during, and after. So I don't understand why he went through. When he told me he wanted a break on November 2nd, 2 days after it happened, was because of the guilt, but he still was too scared to come clean. They both stopped talking after that. All this week I've been getting 4 hours of sleep every night. I've lost 8 pounds. I randomly have panic attacks throughout the day. Of course my husband is saying all the right things, that he doesn't know why it took so long to realize what he has, that he wants to be a good dad and husband. He's excited for our baby, that he took what he had for granted for so long. He hates himself. He'll never forgive himself, that I did absolutely nothing wrong and I've never been short of amazing, that he hates her. He feels like she took advantage of him when she knew he was weak and vulnerable, that he knows he doesn't deserve me, that he had the perfect wife in life and threw it away for nothing. I was betrayed by who I truly believe deep down in my core was my soulmate love of my life. I was betrayed by Sil, who I thought was one of my closest friends. I also now feel betrayed by mother-in-law because she is still best friends with Sil. She went out to get nails done with her the day after me and her found out everything. Never even asked me how I was. It's embarrassing, but I can't stop having sex with him. I always imagined if this would happen to me, I'd be burning his clothes and hammering his PS4. I used to think the women who stayed were crazy. I want to stay, but I don't think I can. I keep playing the movies in my head and I don't think they'll ever leave. I don't believe it would ever happen again. But I also believed it could never ever happen the first time either. I feel embarrassed, stupid, gullible. Sorry this was so long. I didn't know how to condense it anymore. Take your child and yourself to your parents' house and tell them. They'll probably say a few things that might be hurtful, but regardless of that, they are your parents. You need to sleep, eat and have someone else make sure you're doing both of those things and that your 5-year-old is safe and happy. It can be a pre-Christmas mini stay if your little one asks why. Whatever you think and feel is perfectly normal, but I would distance yourself from him and his family for a while so that you can concentrate on yourself. Hugs to you. I am not excited for this baby anymore. I don't know how I'll take care of a newborn when I can't even take care of myself. I am severely depressed and I don't think it'll ever go away. Okay. First, it is perfectly okay not to feel excited and have all kinds of feelings about this baby. Don't feel guilty about it. This isn't your fault. He didn't just because you got pregnant again. Second, your health and the health of your child are priorities. Go and take an STD test. Even if he said he used a condom, there are several STDs that can be transmitted while using a condom. It is scary to face the idea of a newborn when you already feel overwhelmed. If you decide to go for reconciliation, keep in mind that your husband has to be the one doing 90% of that load. It is on him, not in you. He's the one that has to regain your trust, love and affection. Remember that him cheating isn't about you not being enough, or your family not being enough. This is about him making bad, selfish decisions. I am sorry you're going through this. No one should. Second story. Cheated on by wife. Left for another guy. She still texts me frequently and cries to me how I am doing better than her and how it's not fair. First time post on Reddit, so I am going to do my best. I don't know the acronyms yet. I am trying to learn them all. If my writing and story is all over the place, just know I am going off the top of my head and thoughts and emotions right now. Sorry. To start, I am 31M and wife is 28F. We have 2 kids, 7 and 5. My wife asked me for a separation August 27th, 2020. She left that day and was apparently living at her mom's. The day after, I get messages from her cousin that she's been cheating on me. Wife claims she never did up to this day. A week after we met up to do a Zoom meeting on her phone to meet our son's teacher online, she gets a Facebook message saying something like, "Only a few hours, eggplant emoji, peach emoji, sweat emoji." After the meeting, I asked her if she could explain that and she said she didn't want to talk about it and that she deleted the messages already. She said it was a girlfriend of hers, because my wife was going on a date and apparently girlfriends get excited for each other and think they're just going to get laid, which I obviously didn't believe at all. I got really upset and told her to leave. Around Thanksgiving, October for us in Canada, she told me she was taking the kids to another city to visit her grandparents and go swimming for Thanksgiving. She ended up lying and actually went with our kids and this guy she apparently cheated on me with and stayed in a hotel. On their drive back, the car engine blew and died. The car she fought me for and owes almost $12,000 on still makes payments on every couple weeks. This is when I started to believe in karma a little bit more. Between September and November, my wife and I drank together and had sex around 5 or 6 times. I still wanted her back and I really wanted to have sex with her. The part that I am realizing now is that she's been seeing this guy for a while now. I found pictures of them about a week and a half ago. Ever since I saw those pics and confirmed things, I've stopped talking to her. I just wanted to believe all her lies, even when they were obvious. So she's cheated on me, left me for him, and was cheating on that guy with me. Just 2 weeks ago, before I found out for sure, she came over and we were talking and she was letting me feel her up and give her a full body massage and everything. Right now I can't even fathom what's going on in her head. Some other extra facts. The kids are doing well. My apartment is spotless. And I've lost 50 pounds since she left me, 235 pounds down to 185 pounds. She's come to my place a couple times and has cried to me about how it's so unfair how I am doing so much better than she is. She said it's not fair that I am doing all this now and not when we were together. She told me she still loved me on Christmas and bought me Christmas gifts. Not just junk, but a bottle of sake because she knows how much I want to visit Japan and like making ramen and such. So she put thought into it. I don't mean to sound rude either, but she doesn't look very good nowadays either. She's been putting on weight, has gone hard into drugs and drinking. She tells me she cries all the time. She told me she was depressed with me, left me thinking it'd be better, but is still depressed and that messes with her. But as we know, happiness comes from within, and she has none. So if you left me for someone else, at least be happy about it and make the best of it. She hasn't texted me for 4 days now. This is the longest she hasn't texted me in 4 months. She has told me before, when we were together, that if she ever left I would fail. When I started a job working in a kitchen, started as dishwasher, she said I would never make any friends. Apparently she forgot how social and good with people I am. All the waitresses loved me. I moved from dishwasher to working on the line. and being asked if I'd want to bartend. At the time I was overweight and my self-worth and confidence were shot. So I didn't take up the bartending. She didn't like how many people, especially the girls, ended up liking me. Throughout the marriage, whenever me and my wife would go out drinking, she would always end up twerking on the wall or the floor and letting guys videotape her. She flirted with everyone and even had many of my close friends thinking I wanted a threesome with her. I don't drink often, but one Halloween I drank too much at a friend's party. Ended up passing out and throwing up everywhere. While I was doing that, she was in the bathroom with guys showing her off for free coke and who knows what else. But she convinced me nothing happened and ended up making me think I am crazy and everyone was wrong. Basically gaslighting me. I am seeing a therapist now and I am learning that basically, she just needs attention from external sources non-stop. Getting it from her husband just wasn't enough. I know we all have issues. Our marriage wasn't perfect. I know I still love her and care about her, but I won't be a back burner or a second choice. I hate comparing how me and her are doing, but it makes me feel better right now. I have my own place, a dog, happy kids, my own vehicle, money, in university, and even though I feel like complete garbage, I am going through the emotions so I can fully move on and try to be at peace. Whereas she is living with her mom, broken car, no vehicle, asking me for money and living off COVID money, unhappy, depressed, thought the grass was greener and it isn't. She is so afraid to be alone with her own thoughts that she still sleeps with her mom or the kids sometimes. When I have moved on, she will not. I don't know if she will ever move on, because she knows she made a mistake and is stubborn. In the end, I just don't know why she cheated and left, but continues to text me, has had sex with me, says how much I am doing better than her. It boggles the mind. But then again, how can you understand someone who doesn't even understand themselves? I am doing well, but some weeks I just feel so much hurt. Like she pulled my heart out, shattered it and banged the other guy on top of the shattered pieces. Anyways, that's the story. There's so much more I can say in background that I could give, but I think this does it. Thanks for reading. Feel free to ask any questions or whatnot. It's a difficult time to get separated, cheated on, and COVID at the same time. We know why she does it. She is a broken person that has unchecked mental health issues that make her decision making poor. But we don't know why you entertain her anymore. You clearly haven't cut her off yet, but you need to if you want to believe you're ready to move on yet. The best advice is go no contact except for the kids. Gray rock and 180 the hell out of her. Stop letting her in the house. When she wants to talk, cut her off and or walk away. She is a cake eater. She wants her cake a fair partner and eat it too. Domestic life. You're letting her hold on to that dream by even entertaining her. I know you still love her, but you admit you can't share her in your life, and that is exactly what you're doing. She can't give you what you need. Focus on yourself and your needs. And if there are drugs and alcoholism involved on her part, protect your children from that. Legally if necessary. They should not be exposed to that. Sure as hell do everything to prevent her from leaving town like that. That is traumatizing for the children. Clearly when she's faced with a decision, she just takes the easy way, regardless of consequences. You need to do your best to treat her as your child's mother and nothing more. At least until you feel you are truly over her. Third story. I cut off my 35 female stepsister 34 female after she gave me the silent treatment. What should I say to my family? I am going to try to keep this short, although it's complicated due to my family's dynamics. We're not officially stepsisters any longer, but my father still dotes on her and I still tried to have her in my life after our parents split up. My father is on his fourth marriage. When he married his second wife, her daughter became my stepsister. We were like real sisters, together from when I was 5 until I turned 18. She was given a lot of advantages and privileges that I wasn't, because her mother insisted on it, and my father always puts his new families ahead of his own children. My father and stepsister's parents paid for stepsister's university education and room and board, paid for her vacations, covered her $25,000 credit card debt, gave her a used car, and helped her with a down payment for her first house. She was favored in other ways as well. For example, my father taught her how to drive, but refused to teach me how to drive. When I knocked out my teeth riding my bike, my dad refused to take me to a dentist until one of my teachers called him and shamed him. Stepsister cut her face fooling around and her mother immediately took her to a plastic surgeon. I was and am obviously bitter and hurt by all of this, but have tried very hard not to express that to stepsister because it's not her fault. And I guess also because I've been trained to tiptoe around her feelings at all times. Stepsister doesn't seem to notice or care that she received a lot of things that I didn't. She acts like all of the things she has are a result of her hard work and not gifts from her parents and my father. She's confused that I don't own a home, for example, or that I had to wait until my late 20s to go to university because I had to save some money and wait until I could be classified as a mature student. She was confused that I was working in retail and other menial jobs in my 20s and told me to just try harder. When her mother used her contacts to secure stepsister a very good job right out of university and an internship in France and Spain. If I tried to explain to her why I was in the situation I was in, she'd shut down and end the conversation. Stepsister has stood me up a number of times. We'd arranged to meet for dinner. I'd slept there on the bus, and she wouldn't show up or answer her phone. Other times she'd flake on me and cancel at the last minute. I just stopped inviting her anywhere and didn't accept her invitations to hang out unless there was something else I could do if she didn't show up, like meeting at a museum or something. She gets into snits if she doesn't get her way, and gives me the silent treatment if I do something she doesn't like, but she won't ever have a discussion about it or tell me why she's upset. She's now been giving me silent treatment for weeks and I am just done. I've blocked her and have blocked her on all social media. I am firm in my decision and have been thinking about it for years. She only adds negative feelings to my life. She brings nothing positive. The problem is that I am going to get heavy pressure from my family to reconcile with stepsister, because they will all bend over backwards to keep her happy. What should I say? I don't want to get into a drawn-out, emotional fight about it, but they're all experts in triangulation and refuse to have honest discussions about how I was treated or how stepsister behaves. They're not even related anymore, and my father still puts stepsister above me. I guess I also want to know how to not feel guilty about my decision. I am also just really sad about the whole thing. Too long didn't read I cut off my stepsister. Won't be reconciling with her, but need some advice on how to handle family pressure and guilt about it. Edit. I just want to thank everyone for being so kind and for sharing their own experiences. Even if I won't be implementing all of the advice given, I really appreciate it and find it touching that you took the time to help. Even the angry comments are moving. I've never really had someone be angry on my behalf before. And you're all strangers. I was scared to post here, but this had been very healing and has given me a lot to think about. Hit like if you enjoyed this video. Consider subscribing to our channel.